This is 3 minutes of something where we have guests, staff, students, whoever come and give us 3 minutes of something, whatever God is speaking in your life, whatever God's teaching you, something that is, going on in your life. So Mackenzie, thank you so much for joining us. Would
Yeah, I'm
you
super
tell
excited.
us, I'm excited. Would you tell us what you have, the thought, the biblical, spiritual idea that you have for us today?
Yeah. So during this quarantine, I have been praying a lot about like not missing what the Lord wants for me right now. And he's been teaching me like a lot of cool things like throughout like this whole time where like life is just kind of just slowed down. I've had like time to really like dive in and focus on the things that, more things I need to focus on, more time to focus on. So what he's been teaching me a lot about is contentment in the seasons that I'm walking through and his character. And as I was like praying about what to talk about tonight, because I feel like I've been learning a lot in the little times that we've had in quarantine. As I was praying about it, I've talked about this with like a lot of my godly friends, like my mentors, and oh my gosh, Kathy, I love you. Sorry, Maya's mom is my favorite. And so as I was like praying about it, like it was just really cool. Like these two things meshed together, and I was like, this is it. Like and I was really excited. So I looked up the definition of contentment, and the definition of contentment is a feeling of happiness and satisfaction, which I just had a conversation with Jess actually tell you about satisfaction. So this was like really cool. And there's a lot of seasons that we walk through that we don't feel content in because like we feel uncomfortable or we feel like it's hurting and we just don't want to be there, and like it's just really hard to be in that season. So when we get in those seasons, we rush through them because we don't want to be in them, and we don't want to see, like, we don't want to look for the good, we don't want to look for Jesus in it because we're just hurting and we don't want to be in there right now. And when we do that, we totally miss like what the Lord has for us in that season and what he's trying to teach us and the character trait of himself that he's trying to show us in that season. And so I was talking with my mentor Maya last week, and we were talking about how like what the Lord's been teaching us, and his character came up, and we were talking about his character, and she brought up this said this thing that just blew my mind, and I was just like, wow. And she said, like, Jesus is all of these things. He's all of these good things. Like, he is our healer. He's our saving grace. He's our redeemer. He is our protector. But when we walk through different seasons of life, Jesus wants to be those things personally for us. Like, he wants to show us personally that he is those things for us. So, for example, like in my life right now, in my current season, Jesus is showing me that he is my healer and that he is the true one that can heal my soul and the only one that can do that. And that's been really cool. And she said that I can either walk out of this season knowing personally and having experience that Jesus is my healer, or I can totally miss it and say, like, I did that. What I did healed me. Like, I did the work. And that was just really hit me, and it was just really cool. And I was like, wow, you're so right. So being content in the season that I'm in and trusting Jesus shows me his character deeper. When I find my joy and my satisfaction in him, I'm able to look at his character, and I'm really able to go deeper in what he's trying to personally show me in this time, personally be that for me. So like right now, like not walking out of this season missing that he is my healer, but being content and walking with him through this, and being like here in the moment, knowing that Jesus is walking with me and has my hand, and that he is working all of it out for good. So even when seasons feel uncomfortable or they hurt, that I can still be content because my joy and my satisfaction is found in the Lord, and I'm learning about his character and who he is through that season.
Yeah, so what I hear you saying is like taking the opportunity, like when things are painful, when things are not what you want, using that as an opportunity to learn about God. Would you say that's what you're saying?
Yeah.
When you say contentment, my mind immediately goes to that verse that is on like everybody's like cross-stitched in everyone's house. It's like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yeah.
And how that verse is always used. It's used very loosely, and certainly, it can be like inspirational and important to people in different times. But Paul was talking about contentment when he said it. Like when he wrote it, he was saying like, hey, I have been at the top of this social ladder in great standing and powerful and rich, presumably. And he's also said like, I have been poor, beaten, in jail.
Right.
And my God was on the throne the whole time. Like,
yeah,
it didn't
yeah,
matter what circumstance I was in. And understanding that scripture in that way, I think, is super transformative.
yeah, absolutely.
So what is your, like, right now you said seeing God as your healer. Can you like flesh
Mhm.
that out for us? Like
Yeah.
how are you seeing God in this season right now?
Yeah, so I actually had to, before this whole quarantine thing happened, I had to step down from going to school. Not like completely, but I was doing classes online from home because there was something at school that happened that hurt me deeply. So
Yeah.
I needed to step away and just heal at home and be
Yeah.
with people that knew me deeply and just like so I can get away and just have quiet time with the Lord. And I have seen Jesus step into my life and give me peace that I did not think that I had. Like I would go like I think I had like a full week or two where I could not fall asleep before like 2 because I just like my thoughts were just running through my mind. And the one night I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like Jesus, like I need your peace because I'm not going to
Yeah.
be able to do this anymore. And every night since then, like complete peace like over my sleep. And if I feel anxiety or anything coming, I just have to pray, Jesus, please calm my thoughts. And then like immediately it seems like it goes away and that I can just breathe again. And I don't like those thoughts, like if they're still there, they're not above that my Jesus is king and that
Yeah.
he is my peace and that he
Yeah.
is my healer right now. And I can just feel like the inner healing, like things that used to upset me or work me up or like things that used to trigger things, like I can already feel them inside of me, like calming down. And that like I can feel like if something gets brought up that I just have to remember like Jesus is here. He knows like he is my peace. And then I can feel like inner like calmness again and just feel just his peace has
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
so good. And he's just showing me like joy, which like my mom is blown away by, which was a testament in itself. Like my mom's like, I don't know how you're so happy right now. And so like that's just been really cool. And he's given me just such joy and peace throughout this time that has just been super sweet.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm thinking also of like the first, and I mean, we say 3 minutes and we're well past that. The first, a couple weeks ago, we did this and Cassidy was on, and she talked about Jesus calming a storm. And since that conversation, I've been thinking so much about that. And I've said it a bunch of times in a bunch of different contexts about how Jesus is the God of the storm while the storm is happening. Like he was asleep in the bow. And like I've been thinking about like that more and more. Like he was asleep in the bow. What does that mean for me? And and then he woke up and calmed the storm and he was like, what are you guys doing? Why don't you have faith? And I've been processing that more and more and thinking like, I kind of always heard it taught, why didn't you have the faith to calm the storm yourself? But I'm kind of rethinking that, and maybe there's something there, but also like, why didn't you have the faith to know that I'm in control even when the storm is happening? And that's what I'm learning right now. I've been thinking so much about how like there is still a pandemic, like there are still bad things. And sometimes God's going to step in and miraculously stop them and miraculously heal and miraculously save. But even before the storm is calmed, he is just as much God. He is just as much in control. And just kind of figuring out what that means for my life. It's complicated.
Yeah, especially like right now, like when we are like right in the middle of the storm, like learning what our faith looks like. And like some of you said like the other day, that the world is looking to the church right now, which is a big deal. And that we need to look to our God so that we can be an example to the world right now in our faith and who we know Jesus is.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was awesome.
This has been good. Yeah. I think that this is a timely word, stuff that people they need right now. So thank you so much for sharing it and being vulnerable, and I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Good. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining. I see a bunch of you guys.
Sam, I love you.
So thank you. Thank you for coming in. It's funny because she's in the room, so she didn't hear that, but she will like a few seconds after.
A few seconds later.
There it goes. All right. Thank you so much for joining, Mackie, and everybody who came to watch. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys. Thank you.